before Zeus threw his first lightning bolt, before the Olympians ruled the heavens. There was a god so terrifying that even his own parents feared him the moment he was born. His name was Cronus, and the story of how he came to power is not a story of triumph. It is a story of mutilation, betrayal, and a curse so brutal that it echoes through every generation of Greek gods that followed. To understand why Cronus did what he did, you need to go back to the very beginning. Not just the beginning of the gods, the beginning of everything. Greek cosmology begins with chaos. Not chaos as in disorder, but chaos as a living entity. An infinite yawning void that simply existed before anything else. From chaos came the first primordial beings. Gaia, the earth. Tartarus, the deep abyss. Eros, the force of creation. And Erebus and Nyx. Darkness and night. Gaia then did something remarkable. She created Uranus, the sky, and made him her equal. Together they became the first divine couple. And together they produced the very first generation of gods, the Titans. But Uranus was not a loving father. From the very beginning, something was deeply wrong with him. Gaia and Uranus had 18 children in total, 12 Titans, 3 Cyclops, massive one-eyed giants who forged thunder, and 3 Hecatoncheiras, creatures of incomprehensible horror, each with 100 hands and 50 heads. Uranus looked at his children and felt one emotion: fear. He was terrified that one of them would eventually overthrow him. So he did the only thing a paranoid, all-powerful god could think to do. He forced them back into the earth, back into Gaia's womb. He imprisoned his own children inside their mother's body, refusing to let them see the light of the world he ruled. Imagine the agony, not just for the children, but for Gaia herself. She was forced to carry her own offspring within her, unable to free them while Uranus ruled above with absolute contempt for everything he had created. Gaia endured this for a long time, but eventually her grief turned into something cold and deliberate, something far more dangerous than rage. It turned into a plan. Gaia reached deep into her own body, into the gray flint of the earth itself, and shaped something that had never existed before. A sickle, enormous, curved, sharp enough to cut through divine flesh. Then she went to her imprisoned Titan children. One by one, she whispered to them through the rock. She told them what Uranus had done. She told them about the sickle, and she asked which of them was brave enough to use it. Not one of them answered. Not the eldest, not the strongest. The shame of what they were being asked to do, to castrate their own father, was too great, too horrifying, too final. All of them refused except one, Cronus, the youngest Titan, the most cunning, the most ruthless. He looked at his mother's plan, looked at the sickle in his hand, and said yes. The plan was simple and brutal. Uranus every night would descend from the sky to lie with Gaia. That was the moment. As Uranus approached, Cronus emerged from the earth, and he did what no god had ever done before. He ambushed his own father, he seized him, and with the great stone sickle he castrated Uranus, severing his power in the most visceral, permanent way imaginable. Uranus screamed a curse into the night. He called his sons the Titans, a name that may derive from a Greek word meaning to strain or to overreach. And he prophesied that one day Cronus would suffer the same fate at the hands of his own son. From the blood of a father, a new king was crowned. But before the Age of Gold could begin, the earth itself had one final gift and one final horror to offer the world. The blood of Uranus fell into the sea, and from that blood, Aphrodite herself was born. the goddess of love risen from an act of divine violence. Even in its most disturbing moments, Greek mythology never lets you forget how intertwined creation and destruction truly are. Cronus had done it. He had overthrown the most powerful being in existence. He freed his Titan siblings. He took the throne. And for a time, the myths describe his reign as a golden age, an era of peace, abundance, and divine order across the whole of the ancient world. Cronus remembered the curse. He remembered every word his father had spoken as he retreated into the broken sky. And instead of trusting his children, instead of choosing to be a better god than Uranus, he made the exact same choice. When his wife Rhea began bearing children, Cronus swallowed them whole. Every single one. Hestia, Demeter, Hera, Hades, Poseidon. Each god swallowed the moment they were born, imprisoned inside their father's body, exactly as he had once been imprisoned inside the earth. But Rhea had endured enough. When she became pregnant with her sixth child, her last, she went to her mother Gaia. And Gaia, who had done all of this before, told her exactly what to do. Rhea traveled to the island of Crete. In a hidden cave deep in the mountains, she gave birth to a son in secret. She named him Zeus. And when Cronus came for the child, she handed him a stone wrapped in cloth. He swallowed it without hesitation. He never even looked. Zeus grew up in secret, hidden from his father, raised by nymphs in the mountains of Crete. And when he was old enough, he made his move. Not with thunder, not yet. He began with something far more deliberate. Zeus disguised himself and approached Cronus as a servant. He offered his father a drink, a mixture of wine and an emetic herb prepared by Gaia herself. Cronus drank it without suspicion. He had never had reason to suspect a servant. What happened next was not glorious. It was not beautiful. Cronus convulsed. He retched. And one by one, the gods he had swallowed came back into the world. First the stone, then Poseidon, then Hades, then Hera, then Demeter, then Hestia. All of them fully grown, all of them furious. The Titans rallied behind Cronus on Mount Othrys. The Olympians claimed Mount Olympus. And for a decade, the two sides fought a war so violent that the ancient poets said the earth shook to its roots, and the sea boiled with the heat of divine combat. But Zeus knew he could not win with the Olympians alone, so he went to the one place his father had feared most. He went down into the earth, into the prison where the Cyclops and the Hecatonchires had been locked away since the age of Uranus. Zeus freed them, all of them. The Cyclops, massive one-eyed master craftsmen who had been imprisoned since before memory. In gratitude, they forged him the most powerful weapon ever created, a bolt of living lightning, the thunderbolt. They did not stop there. For Poseidon, they forged the trident, a weapon that could split the earth and command the seas. For Hades, they crafted the Helm of Darkness, a helmet that rendered its wearer completely invisible, even to the gods. 3 weapons, 3 brothers, 1 war to end all wars. And then came the Hecatonchires, 3 beings of impossible scale, each with 50 heads and 100 arms. Cronus had feared them more than any other creature in existence. Now they stood beside Zeus. The Hecatonchires reached down and hurled 300 boulders simultaneously directly into the Titan line. The sky turned dark with stone. The Titans broke. Mount Othrys shook. And Cronus, the king who had swallowed his own children, who had castrated his own father, who had ruled the world through fear, fell. The defeated Titans were not simply killed. Zeus and his siblings chose a punishment that mirrored the worst thing Cronus had ever done. They cast the Titans into Tartarus, the deepest, darkest pit in all of creation. The same abyss that existed before the gods, before the Titans, before the earth itself. The Hecatoncheires were stationed there as guards. The very creatures Cronus had feared most would now spend eternity standing watch over his prison. The punishment was not just physical. It was designed to be the cruelest possible irony. Cronis had begun his story by refusing to release what he feared. He ended it imprisoned in the one place no god could escape. The cycle that began with Uranus, the father who imprisoned his children, had finally consumed itself. And above, on a mountain that scraped the clouds, a new age began. Zeus took the throne of the universe. The age of the Olympians had arrived. But if you have been paying attention, you already know what comes next. Because the curse never truly ends, it only changes hands. Zeus imprisoned the Titans the same way Cronus imprisoned his children, and the same way Uranus imprisoned his. 3 generations, 3 kings, the same fear, the same punishment. Do you think Zeus ever broke the cycle, or did the pattern continue forever? Next time on Gods and Empires, we travel north, to a world of ice, ash, and something ancient coiled beneath the ocean, something so vast that its body encircles the entire world, something that even the gods of Asgard could not kill. The Midgard serpent is waiting.